The courtroom smelled of dust, sweat, and old timber polished smooth by 100 years of boots. Morning sunlight filtered through high windows, painting gold stripes across the floor where Clara Wainwright stood. She looked far too delicate for a courtroom in the wild. West, gray-blue dress buttoned, high at the collar, hands trembling but steadying each other at her waist. Her voice had gone quiet hours ago, replaced by the hush of onlookers waiting to see the daughter of a fallen rancher stand trial for theft. Outside, the wind rattled the courthouse shutters like chains. Inside, the judge's gavel fell. "Miss Wainwright," he said, peering over his spectacles, "you're accused of stealing 6 horses from the Stanton estate. Do you have anyone to speak for you?" No one answered. Clara's heart hammered. Those horses weren't stolen, they were payment for work her father had done before he died, work the Stantons refused to acknowledge. But the law didn't favor the weak, and she had no money left for a lawyer. The few townsfolk who'd once smiled at her now whispered behind gloved hands. Her father's good name was gone. Her reputation, too. "I didn't steal," she whispered, voice barely carrying. "They were ours." The judge sighed, the weight of paperwork and politics pressing on him heavier than justice itself. "Without proof, miss, your word holds little value." Tears threatened, but she blinked them away. Her father had raised her to stand tall even when the world shrank around her. Yet she could feel it closing now, the cold certainty of losing everything. Then suddenly, the courtroom doors swung wide with a crash that startled even the bailiff. Dust whirled in from the street, and through it stepped a tall figure in a sun-faded duster, a cowboy. Broad shoulders, hat pulled low, boots heavy with travel. Every head turned. He paused, scanning the room until his gaze found Clara. The tension between them was instant, electric, though she didn't know him. The judge frowned. "Sir, court is in session. State your business." The cowboy removed his hat slowly. "Name's Cole McRae," he said, voice deep, roughened by miles of trail dust. "I'm here on her behalf." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Cole walked forward, spurs clicking softly against the floorboards. "Those horses she's accused of stealing," he continued, "belonged to her father. He broke them for Stanton, and when Stanton refused payment, Clara took what was owed." The judge leaned back. "You have proof of this claim, Mr. McRae?" Cole nodded and reached into his coat. From it he pulled a folded ledger, edges worn. "Signed by Stanton's own hand," he said. "A record of labor unpaid." The judge took the ledger, eyes narrowing as he read the inked scrawl. Gasps filled the room. The handwriting matched Stanton's. Clara's knees nearly gave way. She hadn't dared hope for rescue, let alone evidence. The judge cleared his throat. "If this document is genuine, Miss Wainwright may have been wrongly accused." Cole turned to face the gallery, his expression calm but fierce. "She ain't no thief," he said. "She's the daughter of the only honest man this town's forgotten." The silence stretched thick with shame and awe. The judge finally nodded. "Case dismissed." Clara covered her mouth, tears spilling freely now, not of fear but of relief. Cole stepped closer, eyes softening. "Told you, ma'am," he murmured. "I'm the man you've been waiting for." But how could he know? She'd never met him. And yet something in the way he said it felt older than time, as though fate had been riding toward this moment for years. Outside, the noon sun flared over the rooftops of Redwood Town, and for the first time in months, Clara felt warmth that wasn't from the sun. The town buzzed long after the trial ended. Whispers of the cowboy who saved the Wainwright girl echoed through every saloon and shop front. Clara walked beside Cole down the dusty street, unable to find words that matched the storm inside her. "Why'd you do it?" she finally asked. "You don't even know me." Cole smiled, a small, tired curve of his mouth. "Your pa did a favor for mine once. Saved his life when a stallion threw him near the canyon edge. I owed him a debt. Never got the chance to pay it until today." Clara slowed, boots scuffing the dirt. "You rode all this way. For a promise?" "Out here," Cole said quietly. "A promise is all a man's got." They reached the hitching post outside the general store. Cole's horse, a chestnut gelding, snorted softly, impatient for water. Clara looked up at him, eyes bright with something that wasn't just gratitude anymore. "You could have just sent a letter," she said. He chuckled. "Letters don't stand up in court." The wind lifted the hem of her dress, swirling dust around them like a dance. For a heartbeat, the whole world seemed to pause. That evening, they shared coffee in the boarding house parlor. The oil lamp flickered, shadows crossing his face. Clara told him about the years after her father's death, how the neighbors turned cold, how she'd fought to keep the ranch alive until Stanton claimed the land. Cole listened without interrupting, his gaze steady and kind. When she finished, he said softly, "You don't owe that town another tear. Start fresh somewhere else." "Where would I go?" He shrugged, eyes glinting. "Ever been to Montana?" She laughed despite herself. "Never been anywhere. Then maybe it's time you see something worth seeing." Silence settled again, warm and full of possibility. She studied him. This stranger who'd walked into her ruin and given her back her name. Why help me now after all these years? Cole leaned back, hat tilted over one knee. "Because some debts don't end with one good deed. Your father gave my family hope. You deserve the same." Outside, the night deepened. Lanterns blinked out one by one across redwood. But in the parlor, the flame between them burned steady. Weeks later, when Cole rode out, Clara was waiting by the gate of what once was her father's ranch. The land had been returned to her name thanks to Cole's proof. She watched him approach, hat brim low against the sun. "Still thinking about Montana?" he asked. "Only if there's room on that horse for two," she said, smiling. Cole dismounted, helping her up. Always was. As they rode away, the wind carried off the last of redwood's whispers. Somewhere beyond the ridge, the horizon opened wide, painted in gold and crimson. Clara looked at him, heart steady for the first time in years. He met her gaze, and the corner of his mouth lifted. "Told you once, remember? I'm the man you've been waiting for." And she believed him. Because sometimes salvation doesn't come in prayers or verdicts. It rides in slow, wearing dust in a promise.